the scene as we're discussing it, for a while you believed that there was a missing cup, didn't you?
I did, yes, for a little while.
And in fact, you believed that it was Mr. Taylor who had removed that cup out of the scene, didn't you?
That was my suspicion. I knew there was a cup missing, or I thought there was a cup missing.
And you arbitrarily assigned that misdeed to Mr. Taylor, didn't you?
I never said he removed a cup from the scene that I can think of. I just said that I believe there had been some cleanup because there was a cup that was unaccounted for.
In the tense cross-examination of a high-stakes Nashville courtroom, the defense attorney turned to Detective Tom Miller and asked pointedly, "For a little while you believed that it was Mr. Taylor who had removed that cup out of the scene, didn't you? A single empty space on a kitchen counter, one missing drinking glass in a poisoning investigation where every sip mattered. That absence spoke louder than any tested bottle or swab. Before we go deeper into what the documents actually show, make sure you're subscribed to Project Cold Case, because we don't just cover the story, we follow the evidence." On February 25, 2023, emergency calls lit up the lines. Mr. Taylor, frantic, described his girlfriend suddenly feeling ill after dinner, painting canvases and sharing time with friends. He mentioned an allergic reaction. Dispatchers noted overdose protocols. Paramedics rushed to the apartment on Ontario Street. What should have been a straightforward medical emergency quickly became something far more suspicious once investigators arrived. Detective Miller's team entered apartment 107.
Like I said, I don't know. I can say that the cup is in a picture that was on Jade's phone prior to her falling ill. And then later, when we get there, it is over by the sink, sitting next to the wall, the backsplash.
Certainly sitting by the sink inaccessible for you to remove tape tests, correct?
Yes, at that time, if we had known.
And so there was nothing stopping you from knowing, because when you went in to execute the search warrant, the cup was right there the entire time, wasn't it?
There was something to stop me from knowing it was relevant because we didn't get in her phone that night. So I was looking at the glasses that were on the island because glasses were mentioned in the interviews, and looked at those as those were relevant. I wasn't inclined to seize all her drinkware.
They saw drinking glasses on the island, bottles of Minute Maid and V8 Splash, some clear liquid, and other items. But the search focused narrowly. Homicide detectives directed collection of specific pieces.
And then it's safe to say none of those glasses or those cups that you left there were tested, were they?
The ones that were left there, no.
And Mr. Taylor did not therefore remove anything from that apartment based on your knowledge.
Crime lab analysts later tested those items: glasses, residues, liquids. Forensic scientist Nicole Dowell confirmed it clearly. No controlled substances detected, not cocaine, not anything that would explain a sudden collapse, yet the defense exposed the cracks. The attorney pressed Detective Miller on.
The crime lab assign unique lab case numbers to all the evidence it receives?
Yes, it does.
Okay, and what was that crime lab number associated with that complaint number I just gave you?
Do you have the report?
Did you create a report in this case?
Yes, I did. Thank you. The crime lab number is CL-23-001060.
And what type of evidence did you receive from the police department for this case?
I received drinking glasses, empty bottles, and
A cup visible in earlier photos on the victim's phone, a cup that later appeared moved near the sink, seemingly cleaned. You believed there had been some cleanup, the defense stated. Miller acknowledged a missing cup, an unaccounted-for item in a case centered on what Jade Benning had been drinking. The pink liquid she reportedly said tasted funny, the glasses mentioned in witness statements.
helium. It flows through the column and helps the components. It helps the components of the mixture travel through the column. Again, it depends on how strongly each component reacts to that column coating, how long it will take to travel through the column. Once it travels through the column, it enters into the mass spectrometer, where it is then bombarded with electrons, and it fragments.
Yet Miller didn't bring him downtown immediately for a full interview like other key witnesses.
It didn't appear to have any residue. There was no visible residue or contents. Those glasses were rinsed with methanol, so if there was some type of residue that I couldn't see visibly, I would extract it with the methanol.
Okay, and if these pieces of evidence had been rinsed out prior to the crime lab, is it likely substances would have popped up?
If they had been rinsed prior to coming into my possession?
Yes, ma'am.
I can't really speak to what happens to it before it comes into my possession.
My question might have been confusing. Not something that you did or rinsed out, but if someone prior to you, not with Metro PD, would have rinsed it out with warm water, soap, anything like that, are these results consistent with that?
Clear negatives. But garbage in, garbage out applies when submission is selective. As the trial unfolded,
911, what is the location of your emergency?
I'm not sure. It's on Donaldson Pike. I'm at a friend's house, and I think she's having an allergic reaction.
Let's see, I guess on Donaldson, sir, that way you can find her.
I don't know. It's an apartment complex.
Is there a piece of mail with her? With the address?
I'm looking around. Just give me a second. I'm looking around. I don't know what's going on. I think she just passed out. Give me 1 second.
Okay, are you on Donaldson Pike or are you on Lebanon here?
Lebanon? Yeah, Lebanon. It's apartment 107.
What is it? Is it 1540 Lebanon Pike?
I don't know. It's not Burger King. I do know that. Let me look at. I'm going to the front of the building to get at the condo/apartment. Yeah, I'm trying to see the name of it. I'm running to the front.
Okay, is there a Valco in the corner there, sir?
Is there a what?
The Valco in the corner?
I'm not sure. I just passed it. I'm running. The Ontario, 1522-1550 Lebanon Pike. The Ontario.
1522?
Yes. The Ontario, 1522-1550 Lebanon Pike.
So the Ontario 1522, she's in about 107, and she left an overdose.
Yeah, that's right. I don't know. I think she's having an allergic reaction. We were getting cookies and painting, and then she said she wasn't feeling good. And I went back to the room to check on her.
Not every drawer, not every box, not exhaustive for hidden substances. Then came Keontae Jones, another man present that night. On the scene during critical moments, part of the circle around the distressed victim. The defense laid it out. Jones was there with Taylor and others. He was on a follow-up call.
Now, if you could just look at all of the pieces of evidence Mr. Evans is going to hand you and say whether or not you reviewed this evidence.
Okay. This is submission 008, and yes, I did test this evidence.
Okay, what is that?
This is a clear drinking glass, and I can tell that I tested the evidence because of the evidence tape and my initials and the date. This is submission 007, also a clear drinking glass. And again, I have see the crime lab tape with my initials and the date on it, so I did test this evidence. This is submission 006. Inside the paper bag were 2 empty bottles
items of evidence.
Yeah, you always want to take whatever precautions you can, such as wearing protective gloves, making sure they're separated, having whatever mode you're putting it in. In our case, depending on what it is, it's usually a paper sack. So have that available.
And did you follow that process and procedure in this case?
I did. This was a little unique in that you had fluids. Normally, when it comes to any kind of fluids, we'll just do a swab of it. In this case, I thought it was more important to get a larger sample of it. So the clear liquid in the drinking glass, I put like in a little plastic vial that we have. That's specific for liquid collections. I did that, then I collected everything else as a whole, but I mean, it was in separate bags. You denote the time and the date that you actually take possession of it, that you take custody of it, and you make sure that's marked down also.
Okay. And is that actually placed on the bag or the whatever the evidence is placed in?
It is, along with the complaint number, where it was obtained from, what exactly is in that individual sack, and date, time.
Council has seen these items before, but I can bring the box over if I want to look again. Okay, thank you. I apologize if this may take a minute, but if I could have these items passed up to Mr. Terry one at a time. And actually, let me pull it over here. This way I can show you which one